Park in downtown Houston. It is Houston Astros baseball, and today it is an afternoon affair as the Houston Astros and the Atlanta Braves wrap up a two-game series. Houston going for win number 23 of the season. Alongside Jeff Blum, I'm Kevin Eschenfelder, sitting in for Todd Callis again today. And, well, the Astros, this is not a two-game homestand. It's basically an 18-hour homestand, and you get right back out on the road. Would love to get greedy here and take this one before heading back out to New York.
Absolutely. You can't take the Braves for granted. It is a two-game trip where you could kind of be a little bit lax about things, but they took care of business yesterday. I look for them to do it again today.
Joe Musgrove on the mound today for the Houston Astros, and they're looking for him to not only go deep into this ball game, but to get through that first inning, which has been his Achilles heel so far this season. When Musgrove is good, he's very good, but he's got to flip that switch early on.
He absolutely does. He has very good strike zone command. The issue is he gets ahead early, is unable to put guys away. You expect him to throw a little more inside to right-handed hitters, get him off that inside edge so he can go to that breaking ball away, maybe get some hits off the barrel, ground balls, maybe some strikeouts to mix in there too. But that first inning has been a big issue for Joe Musgrove.
All right, the Astros looking for the sweep of the Atlanta Braves. Yesterday, Carlos Correa, one of 3 home runs for the Houston Astros to go along with Carlos Beltran and the 100th of Josh Reddick's career. The Astros and Braves. It's afternoon baseball coming up next here on Root Sports.
We're bringing you back to Minute Maid Park. Astros going for a 2-game sweep over the Atlanta Braves. Won't see them again for a while. Trying to get a win here before they head on to another road trip as well. And we've seen this team come back several times this year. They lead the majors in comeback wins with 14. Last night, though, however, going a different route to getting a win. They scored early and often against Bartolo Colon, who had never lost, in the city of Houston. But the Astros were determined to change that. Let's take a look at our Toyota time to play. Let's see what happened in the very first frame for the Houston Astros. Top of the order, came out ready to hit. George Springer, Josh Reddick, Jose Altuve all hit the ball really hard. Exit velocity around 105 for each one of these guys early. Altuve actually drove in George Springer to give the Astros an early 1-0 lead. Then Carlos Correa, he stepped up to the plate, and the Astros run producer did just that, crush a 3-run homer off the new batter's eye. It was his 4th of the year. They had a 4-run lead with no outs, and then Carlos Beltran up in the upper deck there, I should say. 4 career homers make it 5 for him. He went back-to-back jacks for the Houston Astros, so they had a 5-run lead in the first inning last night. And they would tack on a few at the end of the game for some breathing room. That's for the bullpen. But a very nice win for this club that's shown they can get it done in several different ways. And I toss it up to the guys in the booth with just how much that changes a game and the mentality as they go forward, guys.
Appreciate you, Julia. Yeah, scoring early and often is a very good thing for every ball club. But we know the Astros are very good at coming from behind. But if you want to relax that dugout a little bit and see some of the good times that they were having after some of those home runs, put those numbers up early and put your starting pitcher at ease, especially here at home.
And again, you got a struggling veteran pitcher that the last thing you wanted to do was let him get in a rocking chair early on. I thought was interesting, too, is there was a game plan going into that game last night, and I thought they executed it absolutely perfectly. Seeing some pitches early on against Bartolo Colon and then jumping on mistakes.
That was the biggest thing. They waited him out, got some fastballs up out over the plate, drilled him a little bit. Joe Musgrove on the mound, 7th start of the season for Joe. Getting roughed up a little bit early on here in 2017 at home. 0-3 with that 5.31 ERA. Contact percentage is incredibly high, around 81%. And we talked about Joe. He does a very good job of getting ahead of hitters. The issue has been getting to that slider and that breaking ball to put hitters away. The strikeouts aren't where he wants them to be. He is going to be around the zone, so when he does leave the ball up out over the plate, right-handed hitters maybe sitting on that outside part of the plate have been able to put that ball in play, and that BABIP almost 300.
Well, the first inning has been his struggle. He's given up the majority of the runs in the first inning this season. In 2 of his last 3 starts, he's given up crooked numbers in that first inning. 2 starts ago, it was in Tampa, so it's been at home and on the road. In Tampa, he gave up a 4 spot, held on, was solid in that game. The Astros came from behind and won that. Last time he pitched was right here against the Texas Rangers, the afternoon game, the finale of the 4-game series. He gave up a 4 spot in the first inning. Astros were not able to recover, and they lost that ball game. The Astros go to work today With those 22 wins, 22-11, they have the largest lead in any division in baseball. A 6-game lead on the Angels and the Mariners. Mariners are playing in Philadelphia right now. The Astros looking for a 2-game sweep here of the Atlanta Braves after winning 8-3 last night. Ender Inciarte leads it off, followed by Brandon Phillips and Freddie Freeman. Matt Kemp, Nick Markakis is the designated hitter. Adonis Garcia plays third base. He bats 6th. Kurt Suzuki is behind the plate batting 7th. Dansby Swanson, the shortstop, batting 8th. And Emilio Bonifacio plays right field, and he will bat 9th. Ender Inciarte stands in, and we are underway. That's in there for a strike. Bonifacio, a .262 hitter with 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Fouls that one away. And quickly, Joe Musgrove is ahead 0-2. And this is something that you wanted to keep a close eye on. Getting ahead in the count has not been the problem. It's been putting batters away once you do get ahead.
Well, you want to finish them off before you get to that even or behind in the count for Joe Musgrove.
That's a pitch in the dirt, 1-2. Musgrove 1-3. 5.40 ERA. This is 7th start, 17th career start. Misses outside, and the count goes even at 2-2.
And what you want to see, if you get ahead of a guy 0-2 early, you want to throw that 0-2 pitch, something to set up that 1-2 pitch.
After getting ahead 0-2, that will fill the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Ender Inciarte, a couple of hits last night for the Atlanta Braves. He's been on some kind of roll. Guy that was thought of as much more of a defensive player has put together a very solid offensive start to his season, and that is off the plate for a ball. Ball 4, so the leadoff man is on for the Atlanta Braves here in the 1st inning. Brandon Phillips steps in. .306 hitter, 2 home runs and 10 runs batted in. He sits on 199 career home runs. Now playing in his 17th career season. See those numbers against the Astros? A 287 career hitter against Houston. A lot of games as a Cincinnati Red, shows bunt, but only a 226 hitter here in this ballpark.
Tell you what, spent a lot of his career hitting at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. That is
Yes,
a good place to have as a home ballpark.
Cleveland not bad either, right?
It is it's a little more fair than Great American. Great American's even better place to hit than here at Minute Maid Park. Ball seems to fly out of there as it gets warmer up in Cincinnati, but Central Division's not a bad place to hit if you have some time to spend there playing in that division.
He's quickly ahead in the count. That is 6 straight out of the zone for Joe Musgrove. Got ahead 0-2 on Inciarte. Fouls that one away. 2 balls and a strike. Just underway here at Minute Maid Park, the finale of a quick 2-game series. The Astros, in essence, the second stop on a 12-game road trip, if you will. Started 3 in Anaheim and then 2 here, and then it is off to New York for 4 and then on to Miami for 3 before coming home for a really nice homestand.
They deserve it.
That's off the plate, a ball. 3-1.
Having some issues commanding that zone that we talked about for Joe Musgrove. Here's a good look at it on our MD Anderson strike zone. Staying just off that bottom edge. You'd like to see him missing down, but you'd also like to see him getting in the zone to get ahead of some of these hitters instead of falling behind 3-1, where you've got to be in the zone with the fastball.
There's a swing and a miss, and that'll even the count. Second batter, second full count. Phillips went 0 for 4 last night, reached on an error, and ended up scoring a run in that 3-run 6th inning for the Atlanta Braves last night. The Astros won the game 8-3. They scored 5 runs in the first, as Julia talked about. They throw a close play at first, and wondering 3-2 if they may have had the green light with Inciarte at first base. 7 out of 8 so far in the steals department.
Good move by Joe. Made that play close.
That one not as close.
And the pickoff play is just to slow the runner down. If you can get him to just be a half click off, that might be the difference between safe and out.
There goes Inciarte, and it's fouled back.
It's not a bad move. Inciarte is a base stealer, 7 on the year. Brandon Phillips is a guy who puts the ball in play. Only 11 punch outs on the season for Brandon Phillips.
More the traditional 2-hole hitter. You don't see it as often now in Major League Baseball, but he is that contact guy that willing to move a runner.
Well, and that traditional word and the traditional sense of a lineup is more often used in the National League than it is the American League.
And Gaddis that time called timeout. They want to reset the signs, whatever the case may be. Evan Gaddis getting the start behind the plate today. Risnick in center, Marwin in left, and Springer in right. That's fouled away.
Tell you what, if Inciarte wasn't loose before the game, he's loose now. And Brandon Phillips, we just talked about it, not a high strikeout guy, fouling off some tough pitches. But one could throw the flag for delay of game on Ender right now.
Took his time getting back after running on the last 2 pitches.
That was a leisurely stroll.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat. The 3-2 to Brandon Phillips. Back over. It was close again. One fouled away, and that is 9. Inciarte, he's got his hands on his hips looking back at Brandon Phillips saying, what do I got to do here?
Brandon's looking back going, hey man, this is my AB.
That's right.
But there's a way for Inciarte to avoid all this, and it's be slow.
You don't have to worry about all that running stuff.
Yeah, you don't get that green light.
You'll see it with 3-2 and 2 outs, and you'll see guys that don't want to be doing that, and they'll put together an at bat like this. Brandon Phillips, this is the 10th pitch of the at bat. Inciarte goes again, and it's fouled back again. Stop me if you've heard this story before.
Yeah, here we go again. I'm running out of material here.
Astros have won 7 of their last 9. Braves trending in the opposite direction. They've lost 7 of their last 8. They're swept in a 3-game series before coming here to Minute Maid Park, and the crowd going to get into this. The 3-2. Got him. Throw down. Just like that. A double play. Strike him out, throw him out. And Evan Gaddis with the gun.
Just wore Inciarte out. Ran out of gas on the way to second base, but a good pitch to get the strikeout by Joe Musgrove. Catch and release from Oso Blanco. It's a good look at the tag by Jose Altuve on our Mattress Firm Supermo. Plenty of time, stays on him. Not too often you see the 2-hand tag.
2-hand tag, and that's a really dirty uniform for having just at that point nobody out or 1 out in the first inning. Now 2 outs, and Freddie Freeman, 336 hitter, 11 home runs. Would you say he's got 11 of the Braves' 21 home runs as a team?
Yeah, this guy's a major portion of their offense, huh?
Astros pitched him tough yesterday. There's a swing and a miss. He went 0 for 4 yesterday with 3 punch outs.
You don't see that too often. Another good breaking ball. Joe Musgrove threw a good get me over for the first strike of this AB, and then the one down gets a swing and miss.
Just missed inside there. It's 2-2.
Those are not the euchre seats.
Not at all. Swing and a miss, and he got him. So the inning started rough for Joe Musgrove, but a strike him out, throw him out, double play, and then a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the second, part of the first, scoreless. Southwest Airlines, George Springer in the leadoff spot in right field, followed by the designated hitter Carlos Beltran. Jose Altuve is the second baseman batting third. Carlos Correa bats cleanup the shortstop. Catcher is Evan Gattis, the former Atlanta Brave. Yuli Gurriel is at first base. Marwin Gonzalez gets the start in left field. He bats seventh. Alex Bregman, the number 8 hitter at third base. And Jake Marisnick starts in center field. He will bat ninth. George Springer got it all started yesterday, and today he faces the left-hander Jaime Garcia, making his 6th start as an Atlanta Brave.
Some interesting numbers right there. Very high FIP at 5.06, but the BABIP, when the ball is put in play, the average is only 242. Kind of tells you that he is not giving up a lot of hits, but when he does, they're home runs.
The Astros taking pitches yesterday, but George Springer ready to hit, swinging first pitch here.
Well, Jaime Garcia is a fastball changeup type guy, and what he does is tries to get ahead with that fastball so he can get to the changeup later, trying to induce that ground ball. But what he's been having issues with the fastball is getting it elevated. 20% of the fly balls he's given up have gone out of the park.
Ultimate ground ball pitcher, and that is an 0-2 count. Fouls off the first two. 1-1. At 3.99 ERA.
Again,
solid numbers. That's what he always
13
does.
walks.
Yeah, that's something that. Well, Jaime Garcia, when he was a Cardinal, he was that guy that just, at the end of the day, just never blew you away from the eye test. But you look at the end of the season, he logged a lot of innings. And he's faced the Astros a lot, not necessarily this group of Astros, but when he was a St. Louis Cardinal.
No, he's very competitive. You can see he's not afraid to come inside to right-handed hitters, but what that does, much like Dallas Keuchel, as a left-handed pitcher, is sets up that changeup away.
It's his 8th career start here at Minute Maid Park. It has not gone well. He's 2-3 with an ERA north of 7, 7.08 ERA. Springer fouls off another one. Count remains 1-2. Well documented, the Astros have had their troubles against left-handed pitching this season. Just so counterintuitive with the amount of right-handed hitters that they have in this lineup.
The amount of them and the quality of them also.
That's 3 point.
17th in the big leagues with a 239 average against left-handed pitching. And I think they're giving George a little bit of time. He has destroyed that front leg here in a couple pitches already.
1 ball and 2 strikes just underway here in the first inning. That just misses. George is the poster child. We talked about National League lineups as opposed to American League lineups. Not your stereotypical leadoff man, but certainly works for the Astros. The 2-2 pitch. 3-2.
Well, he forces you to engage, and I know for us, it forces us. We're watching the game, but it forces you to pay attention because this guy is going to put together an AB that has a potential to do some serious damage. Saw it early on in the season with a bunch of leadoff home runs to start out the season. But I think that pitchers now have been a little more cautious and been a little more focused on that first pitch.
See Beltran waiting on deck, hitting in the 2-hole, the designated hitter. Springer swings at this one. Garcia throws across, and they're 1 away. So the designated hitter Carlos Beltran stands in. He has been Mr. Extra Base Hit here as of late. 252 hitter with 3 home runs. Hit his 3rd homer of the year last night, and it was a bomb into the upper tank in right field, batting left-handed. He's also got 11 runs batted in. 544th career double last night, one of his 2 extra base hits, tied him with Derek Jeter.
And he has hit himself into the conversation of being one of the better switch hitters of all time, too. It's kind of ironic with the Braves here, knowing that Larry Jones was a very good switch hitter.
Wasn't bad.
also known as Chipper.
Third on the all-time list of extra base hits by switch hitters.
Third all time. Just try and let that sink in.
Just swing and a miss. Garcia going to fish for that one. Think about the numbers. Eddie Murray, nearly 1,100. 1,099. Chipper Jones with 1,055. Beltran 1046 last night with those. His last 5 hits have been extra base hits. A swing and a miss, and there's 2 away. I'll bring up Jose Altuve. Altuve with an RBI single in the first inning last night. His only hit of the night. He would later score on Carlos Correa's 3-run home run. Digs in here, hitting .303 with 5 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Fifth in the American League. He's going to be happy to get out on the road.
He always is. Puts up amazing numbers in that gray uniform for the Astros.
That's off the plate, ball 1. Yeah, hitting .419 away from Minute Maid Park is Jose Altuve. It's just silly. You know, there was a time last year that I looked at it, I think it had to have been in late July. Jose Altuve had more 4-hit games on the road than 0-hit games on the road. He checked for the appeal. He did not go, was able to pull the bat back.
No, he's done remarkable things in his career. One of them was last year, like you were talking about, those road numbers that he was able to put up. He's a career .342 hitter against left-handed pitchers. And how about right now, his splits between home and road, exactly .311 apiece.
There's a swing and miss since he was in a hitter's count. Still is 2-1.
He was in a hitter's count, but he was in launch mode right there. That head went flying.
That's consistency.
Yeah.
I'm talking about those splits. Jose with his 15th run batted in of the season last night. Took something off there. And Altuve punches that one to second base. Brandon Phillips throws him out and retires the side. We are through 1 here in Houston and scoreless.
Between the Braves and Astros. Joe Musgrove's on the mound, and we're going to take a look at today's pitch usage brought to you by AT&T for Joe Musgrove. Almost 50% of the time you're going to see that fastball hitting .327 against it. Doesn't throw that cutter all that often to try and get inside on left-handed hitters, but he likes to get to that slider. You see why with that .196 average against. The curveball has been getting raked. But I want to see Joe try and pitch that inside corner against right-handed pitchers. Therefore, it can open up that outside corner to make that slider and curveball just a little bit better.
There's Matt Kemp to lead it off here in the second for the Atlanta Braves. A .337 hitter and riding a 10-game hitting streak, hitting .364. Came over to Atlanta last year from the San Diego Padres. That was in a trade in July. He just had an outstanding start to the season. 6 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Hit a double last night that just missed getting out of here. The 1-2. Foul back.
Kemp has great career numbers. .287 is that career batting average, but he's 4 home runs away from .250. I remember playing with Arizona against him in 2011. He was 1 home run away from being a 40-40 guy.
Look out. Ron Washington skipping a step there in the third base coach's box. Texas Rangers manager. Oakland Athletics.
Infield guru.
Yes, sir. Loves it.
And full-time workaholic.
He's a guy that I think Julia, are you down there? I know Ron Washington, a guy that you've covered for a long time, and then just a joy to be around.
He is. You know, I love talking baseball with him because he has been around for so long, and the time that he's spent with all of these infielders you guys were just mentioning, he's been doing that forever. So he's spent a lot of time with a lot of different big leaguers. You know, Elvis Andrus. He had him when he was coming up, and the things that he told him and how he developed Elvis as a big leaguer. It's very important for these big leaguers to have someone like Wash, or just a mentor that they can go to. And Gary Pettis, you know, he talks a lot about Gary Pettis. They were on that same staff with the Texas Rangers. Those two continue to be really good friends, but Gary's got a lot of that too. He's just been around a lot of baseball. But the way that they came up, you know, years ago, and I don't mean to call them old by any means, but the amount of baseball that they've seen and the amount of players that they've been around is really helpful to all these young guys.
A lot of experience. Ninth pitch of the at-bat. Bregman will throw out Matt Kemp. One out in the second.
These guys are making Joe work. 30 pitches now with one out in the second inning.
And that's after going 1-2-3, facing 3 hitters in the first inning. Ender Inciarte, he walked to lead the game off, and then Brandon Phillips had a 10-pitch at bat. Strike him out, throw him out, double play, and then he punched out Freddie Freeman to end the first inning. Nick Markakis, a 6-game hitting streak, is the designated hitter.
I get to see my guy, you know, talking about Ron Washington being that guy that works hard. I get to go see my guy down in Miami. First base coach Perry Hill for the Miami Marlins was my infield guy up in Montreal, and he's the reason I learned how to play 4 different infield positions, because he was relentless at getting me out there and preparing me to play all those positions.
It's amazing. You think the guys come to the big leagues and they know everything at that point, but still a lot of coaching left to be done even at this level.
And you've got to be coachable at that level too. It's one thing to get here, but in order to stay here, you've got to use the resources that are available to you. Ron Washington, one of those guys, Gary Pettis, Dave Hudgens.
Well documented with Craig Biggio and Matt Galante.
Yeah,
going out
you're
for
right.
The backfields in Kissimmee. Good look at Gary Pettis.
Former townmate. We lived in the same city in California until I became a Houstonian again.
H-Town.
Believe it.
That's in there for a strike. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Good pitch, bottom part of the zone.
(3-2). Fouled away. That is the 36th pitch for Joe Musgrove, with 1 out in the second. And that's after facing only 4 hitters.
Been 3-2 on everybody.
9 pitches a batter. Walked him. Second walk of the early ball game here for Joe Musgrove. Bring up Adonis Garcia, 33 hitter, playing third base today. The 3 home runs and 13 runs batted in.
Yesterday against Charlie Morton, we saw the Atlanta Braves come out hacking. They were swinging early, they were swinging often, trying to attack Charlie Morton's fastball before he could get to that slider. It's the other way around here with Joe Musgrove. Even though he's got good strike zone command in the past, they are extremely patient making Joe work.
Wouldn't you think the scouting report would basically be inverted between the 2 hitters, the 2 pitchers, I should say?
Yeah.
Make him work.
But I think it's due to the fact that there's not a real panic when you get into that 2-strike count against Joe Musgrove. He has a tendency to let you back into the count, doesn't have that nasty pitch to put you away.
Well, he went 0-2 on Ender Inciarte and ended up walking him. He's 0-2 now on Adonis Garcia. Garcia wants to step out for a moment. That's foul. Garcia's 6-game hitting streak became a thing of the past last night. He took an over. It's been a rough go for the Atlanta Braves. They're in last place in the National League East, 11-19. Went into a brand new ballpark, SunTrust Ballpark, and they have struggled there. They've struggled on the road. That one hit right at Altuve, could be two. Flipping the throw. Second double play in as many innings for Joe Musgrove. Go to the bottom of the second, scoreless.
Correa going big fly to dead center field here at Minute Maid Park off the new batter's eye. Trying to wreck some of that ivy. Good to see him driving the baseball. That leads us into our board spray chart on Carlos Correa. Career home runs by pitch. He loves hitting that fastball, as most hitters do. Good pitch drive out of the ballpark. You see him doing it 25 times. He's gotten a split finger down in the zone, launched it out. Cutter, slider, changeup, all on that list too. But those numbers are going to continue to grow as this man plays more big league baseball.
Jaime Garcia works to Carlos Correa. First pitch swinging right back to Garcia, and he throws him out. One pitch, one out in the second. Brings up the former Atlanta Brave, Evan Gattis. Gattis, a 2010 23rd round pick of the Atlanta Braves. Debuted with the Braves in 2013. The start here today behind the plate, putting together a very quiet, solid season at .304 with 3 homers and 16 runs batted in.
In those limited ABs, he's one of the best hitters on this Astros roster.
Got to be hard to do.
OPS, slugging percentage, he has been doing it all, and he hasn't complained about it.
And that's got to be difficult. And you were in situations like that at times in your career where you might go 2 or 3 days without getting an at bat, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, I think Tony Eusebio had a hitting streak for the Astros years back, and like 22-game hitting streak that lasted 40,
3 months.
Yeah, exactly. Lasted 45 days.
It's not easy to do.
Gattis fouls that one back. It's 0-2.
So much of hitting is predicated on timing. And you've got to find that routine. You've got to find that drill. You've got to find the time to maintain that timing and maintain that swing. But Evan Gattis, as most people have noticed, he's a pretty simple guy. Just needs a piece of wood to go out there. He doesn't need batting gloves, wristbands, nothing else. Just give him that bat, put him in the box, and let him go.
No shin protector. Almost looks like when he lets go of the bat, there's going to be sawdust in his hands.
It does feel that way. And he just wears the elbow guard to protect the baseball.
I didn't think about that, but that's pretty good. Abuse of baseball. One ball, 2 strikes. As facing his former team, the Astros and Braves will meet again over the 4th of July. 2-game series here, 2-game series in Atlanta. Kurt Suzuki wore that one.
Literally. He might be taking that with him wherever they go next. The joys of being a catcher. Seems like a brilliant idea, right? Put on the gear, sit behind home plate and have guys throw baseballs at you all day long.
That's the downside to it. The upside is if you can do it well,
stick around for a while. Biggio was the smartest man on the planet.
Got there as a catcher and moved to second base, then to center field, then back to second base. Gattis stays alive, 2-2. One out here in the bottom of the second inning. Astros at Atlanta Braves scoreless. Astros looking for a 2-game sweep of Atlanta. If the Astros can win today, it'll be their first series win over the Braves since 2009. Fouled away. Now remains 2-2. So both of these pitchers having to work. Guys spoiling pitches.
It's always fun on getaway day.
It happens.
Should be mandatory Dallas Keuchel outings on getaway days.
You'll get that tomorrow on a get their day in New York. That's foul.
I'll tell you what, and AJ Hinch has got to be pretty happy the way the rotation is setting up going into that 4-game set in New York. It's going to be a great matchup with the New York Yankees, a young ball club playing extremely well. But when you get to start off that series with Dallas Keuchel laying some colors the first 2 games out, that's very nice.
Just hope weather doesn't play into the
Stop
factor.
it.
I know.
Stop it.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Fouled in the seats. There you go.
Yeah, that's how it's going to line up. Michael Pineda, you see, those are great numbers on the other side also. Luis Severino looked great the other night in that 18-inning game. He pitched well to start out that ball game. But Tanaka, he's got a Maddox under his belt this year. Is now for complete games and minimal pitches. He's done a great job, but
they scored some runs. They scored some runs for Tanaka.
Yeah.
ERA above 4, but he's
the only one above 4.
The 2-2 again. Got him swinging there. Let's go down to Julia.
Hey, I've got our Chevy Stroh poll for today. Remember, follow us on Twitter at Root Sports SW. There you can find the Stroh poll. It's usually the pinned tweet. This is our question of the day. Which of the 1990s Braves Big Three pitchers would you draft? Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz. Hall of Famers right there. Can't really go wrong.
There is not a wrong answer.
I'm going to take the Hall of Famer.
It's anonymous up here in the booth. We are both going with Greg Maddux. Gurriel, well played by Brandon Phillips, and throws him out. That'll end the Astros' 2nd inning. We go to the 3rd, scoreless. Baseball, stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Astros home screen icons and apps features, as well as game day, live game video, highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Kevin Eschenfelder, Jeff Blum, Julia Morales back with you here at Minute Maid Park. Todd Callis with the day off today. He will rejoin the team. He should be here any minute.
Yeah.
He's got a plane to catch today. He'll rejoin the team.
Slacker.
Heading to New York.
Days off. What are those?
You'll find out
someday.
Kurt Suzuki leads it off here in the 3rd inning. Suzuki took a foul ball. It was off the hand there in the last half inning. Takes strike 1. Joe Musgrove looking to settle in. Suzuki, just a 195 hitter. 1 home run, 8 runs batted in. Atlanta Braves, the catchers have been outstanding. 2nd as far as batting average. That won't hurt the batting average right there. First hit of the game for the Atlanta Braves. First hit of the game as Kurt Suzuki with the solid single to center field, and leadoff man is aboard here in the 3rd. Brings up Dansby Swanson. You know, don't send out shout outs very often, but I want to today because there's a gentleman watching today's game. Huge Astros fan. Huge fan of yours and Todd's and the broadcast, Julia as well. John Kalunga, Mr. Kalunga, watching today's game. And on December 29th, he will celebrate his 100th birthday.
Come on.
Can't make that stuff up.
Wow.
Mr. Kalunga, happy early birthday to you. There you
Believe it. Happy birthday.
And I always tell him tell his son good things about you. So keep up the mystery. That's in there for a strike. 1-1 to Dansby Swanson. Swanson had a hit last night. Came into this series hitting 151. Number 1 overall pick in 2015. Got the number 1 and 2 overall picks in that draft here in this one. Alex Bregman at 3rd base, wearing number 2. That misses off the outside. It's 2-1. Astros didn't do too bad with that number 2 pick.
Yeah, they've got to be really pleased.
That just misses. It's 3-1.
Stick coming around for Alex Bregman too.
He stung a ball last night.
He did. That's what we want to see more of. Get that slugging percentage up. Start driving those runners in. He's done a great job with runners in scoring position. But it's good to see him starting to unload on some pitches and let that barrel fly.
2 on, nobody out.
Let's get to know more about interleague play. It's brought to you by AARP. Best records since 1997 when interleague started. Of course, it's the New York Yankees, some stacked ball clubs in those late 90s on through the 2000s, but it looks like it's pretty much American League dominated, huh?
Yeah, but you know, the Astros, you're bringing it closer to home. Last 3 seasons, they've got the best interleague record in the major leagues.
Good stuff.
Bonifacio got him at first. See if that is ruled a sacrifice, because it was bunting for a single there.
It's a no-lose situation.
Absolutely. It's a good bunt, too.
Yeah, lay down a bunt, you get a knock. That's a bonus. If you don't, doesn't count as an A/B because you moved everybody up.
So that'll go to the top of the order with runners at second and third. 2 runners in scoring position for Ender Inciarte, he walked back in the first inning and was caught stealing on a strike him out, throw him out double play. Astros and Braves scoreless here in the top of the 3rd inning. Infield comes in, fouls that one away. It's 0-1. Musgrove survived the first, which has been tough for him to do this season. But after giving up a walk, he gets ahead here to Inciarte. And just like the last time Inciarte faced Musgrove in the first inning, Musgrove got ahead 0-2. See if he can put him away here. Roof closed here at Minute Maid Park today with some thunderstorms in the area. We had a beautiful night last night. It was last homestand at the series against Texas. There's a swing and a miss. Have to throw to first, complete the putout, 2-3. Well, Musgrove needed to strike out in a bad way, and there's one. Now there's 2 outs.
Inciarte expanding the zone in that situation. Want to try and get something elevated you can hit to the outfield. I talk about it all the time. The Astros have been very good at it this year, but that was not a good A/B by Inciarte.
Can't relax here with 2 outs and 2 on for Brandon Phillips.
Or should I say that was just a great job by Joe Musgrove. Give credit where credit is due.
I think you know well enough. You think Inciarte is going to make him work a little bit more than he did in that at bat. One thing I have learned, game's a lot easier from this distance, right?
Yes.
Right back up the middle, and Musgrove will throw him out and gets out of a jam here in the 3rd. After 2.5, we are scoreless.
Bringing the lumber is going to highlight Josh Reddick. What a night he had yesterday against Bartolo Colon. 2 for 4 with a solo shot. That was his 100th career homer. He has 3 homers over his last 6 games, too. Since changing his walk-up song to Ric Flair's interest music, he's been pretty good, too. But he got a title belt ordered, custom made, that he would hand out to each player of the game for each night. All the wins. There's the gorgeous belt that he created. That's been a hit in the clubhouse, so much that now there are 2 new belts. I don't know if you guys have seen them yet, but Carlos Beltran had a couple of belts sent to him, and they're boxing belts, so a little bit different, but they also go to a player of the game and a pitcher of the game. There's 2 different ones. Carlos Correa won last night, and Chris Dubinsky got the pitcher of the game award. So many belts.
Dansby Swanson throws out Marwin Gonzalez to lead off here in the 3rd inning. How about that?
I want a belt.
Not a belt.
Yeah, we should all get belts. Maybe we should get one for us, and it could have like a big golden microphone on it for call of the night.
They're beautiful. I mean, they look good on TV. I'm telling you, up close. Well, the one Beltran got in is super blingy. I don't even know if that's a word, but there's so much bling on that. Last night it mesmerized all the reporters. We were trying to talk to Carlos Correa, but we all kept staring at that belt. It was just bright and shiny.
Well, isn't that the Texas way to have that nice big belt buckle?
That's good. That's an excellent point.
Right?
It is.
They just took it a step
point.
further.
But Carlos Beltran, a huge boxing fan, so we learned that about him.
Spend that much time in the big leagues with that kind of success. Do whatever you want with that belt.
I think he had something to do with the new sound system in the clubhouse, too.
Yeah, that thing.
The new subs in there. Have you heard those?
I have.
Yeah.
And I know the purpose. Well, I don't know the purpose, but I can only assume what the purpose is of that system is for. Wish we would have had it back in the day. Certain members of the media that don't appreciate good clubhouse music and vacate when it gets really loud.
So that's what you were doing.
Veteran move.
That's what you were doing. We knew what you were doing.
Me know.
Alex Bregman, 266, looking for his first home run. He's got 8 runs batted in. Had that triple last night. Ball he just crushed, but he strikes out here.
Tell you what, we're talking about the fastball changeup from Jaime Garcia. He has had a very good slider down and in to get a couple of punch outs. Evan Gaddisy got him in a 3-2 count with slider down and in. There you just saw Alex Bregman swing over the top of his slider.
It's his 3rd strikeout of the game. Had 1 in each of the first 3 at bats for the Astros. And here's Jake Marisnick playing in his 24th game of the season. Jake getting the start in center field today. Catches the outside corner, strike 1. Jake making his 11th start. Sends that one to right field. That's a foul ball. Just foul.
There's going to be some video replay on this one. That one extremely close to the line off the bat of Jake Marisnick. That fan right there wants to see it overturned.
Let's see. Not going to happen.
My goodness, that is close.
Just foul. About 2 inches. Jaime Garcia's last start, that was a rainout with the New York Mets. Does it again, and this time he'll put this one in play, and a single for Jake Marisnick. He's aboard with 2 outs.
Good piece of hitting.
Same idea, better execution.
Absolutely, and that was pitcher's middle in, it looked like, and he forced that one the other way for a knock to get things going for the Astros. Break the seal.
Astros' first hit of the game comes with 2 outs here in the 3rd, and they'll go to the top of the order, and George Springer, who grounded out on the first pitch of the ball game that he saw. 254 hitter with those 7 home runs, 18 runs batted in. It's the 10th time the Astros have faced a left-handed starter. And they are just 4-5 in those previous 9 games. It's the 12th time that Garcia has faced the Astros. Just 3-6 with an ERA of nearly 6.5 in those starts. That's in there for a strike. 1-1 with 2 outs. Jake Marisnick aboard at first base.
It's been 52 ABs since George Springer has hit a home run. Last time he hit a bomb was on April 18th against Ricky Nolasco of the Anaheim Angels.
So he's due.
It's the same amount of ABs since Aoki's last home run.
How about that? Got an 8-game hitting streak. Marisnick goes. Throw down by Suzuki. And Brandon Phillips did a nice job of avoiding Marisnick and stopping the baseball. Stolen base, and the Astros have Marisnick in scoring position with 2 outs here in the 3rd.
Good to see them running. Jake is definitely one of the guys that's a little more fearless out there on the base paths, taking advantage of that speed. Big man can run. Got himself in scoring position with 2 outs. And that's a situation, if he does get thrown out, big deal. You've got George Springer leading off the 4th inning. If you end up being safe, you're in scoring position, which is a bonus too.
There's a 2-1 from Garcia. Beat him upstairs that time. It's 2-2.
He was trying to hit the train too.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's in the dirt, 3-2.
Tried another slider there. Garcia did with a 2-strike count.
These hitters have been patient in this game, and the pitchers have been forced to throw a lot of pitches. Musgrove is up around 50 pitches. This will be the 40th pitch for Jaime Garcia. Carlos Beltran waits on deck with 2 outs. With Marisnik at second. The 3-2. That one ripped into the left field corner. Marisnik will score, and the Astros take a 1-0 lead on an RBI double by George Springer.
What a great piece of hitting. A little bit of knowledge, too, because Jaime Garcia has been throwing that slider a lot. He's thrown a couple in 3-2 counts. He punched out Evan Gaddis in a 3-2 count on that slider. This one stays just up enough for George Springer to get the barrel underneath it. See, trying to go to that down and in corner, but that was a great piece of hitting just to keep it fair. Sometimes you'll see guys get a little aggressive and yank that into the seats. But George with the runner in scoring position, 2 outs. Trades places with Jake Marisnik. Nicely done.
Astros had 2 outs and nobody on, and then Marisnik with a single that stole second base, and he scores on the RBI double. Carlos Beltran takes ball 1. There's now a 9-game hitting streak for George Springer. Beltran a .250 hitter.
Got some streaks alive on this team.
You know, last night when he and Correa went back-to-back, first time since last September that the Astros had back-to-back home runs, but it was the first time in franchise history. They come up with the stats. I'm going to give them to you. First time in franchise history, a player 22 years or younger, an Astro 22 years or younger, and 40 plus homered in the same game.
It's pretty impressive.
Carlos had hit the 3-run home run right before Beltran. Back-to-back Carlos home runs.
Team Rubio. Puerto Ricans going back-to-back too. That's nice.
One fouled away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Astros scored 5 in the first last night. Never looked back. Take the lead here in the 3rd inning. Came into the 3rd without a hit. That one fouled off. Here's a lefty watching closely what Jaime Garcia is doing. Fouled back into the net. Carlos came up as a Kansas City Royal in 1998. A.J. Hinch as a Royal had homered off of Bartolo Colon back in his playing days. Colon got the start last night. Now Beltran facing Jaime Garcia. Switch hitter against the left-hander. Misses high. It's 3-2. I think we're leading the league in 3-2 counts today.
Yeah, we're doing a very good job at that.
Very solid.
Pitchers are being patient.
Man, that's a close pitch.
Yeah, Marty Foster's not giving in on the edges, is he?
This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat. And he lost him, ball 4. That'll bring up Altuve with 2 men on. But Garcia cruised. You got Marwin and Alex Bregman to start the inning. Marwin grounded out on the first pitch he saw, then Bregman struck out. And Jake Marisnik singled to right. Springer brought him in with an RBI double, his 5th double of the season. Now after the Beltran walk, here's Jose Altuve. Last 3 seasons, the Astros 28-13 in interleague play. That's the best record in baseball. It's in the dirt, blocked by Suzuki. Astros at 22-11. They are 11 games over 500 for the first time since game number 161 of 2015. We're in the third, a run in, 2 on, 2 outs. Altuve and Jaime Garcia will throw him out. But George Springer gets it done. His 5th double of the season puts the Astros on top for 1-0. The Coca-Cola Value Nights package is one of the best ballpark bargains available for select Monday through Thursday regular season games throughout the season. This offer scores you a ticket, hot dog, soda, and popcorn, all for just $18. To purchase tickets, visit astros.com/Coke Value or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Freddie Freeman leads it off here in the 4th inning. Freeman striking out back in the 1st inning. He has struck out his last 4 at-bats. Lifts this one in the air to deep left center field. And that is gone. He has got some kind of opposite field power, and just like that, he ties the ball game at a run apiece.
Yeah, it's a real strength for him. Atlanta fans are probably assuming he's back to normal after those 4 punch-outs you were talking about going oppo here at Minute Maid Park. Backdoor breaking ball. Can't teach that. That's just good natural hitting.
There's Matt Kemp. So Freddie Freeman now a dozen home runs this season. Just hit his 12th. Gives him 20 runs batted in. The solo shot to lead it off here in the 4th. That one hit up the middle. It looked like it was running away from Jose Altuve. Back-to-back hits to start things here in the 4th. Brings up Nick Markakis, who walked in the 2nd.
This ballpark, it's easy for Kemp to leave, but you can see with that shift on, he was really making an effort to go the other way against that shift, and he gets the hit.
Extends Matt Kemp's hitting streak to 11 games. Misses a ball. Well, Musgrove has benefited from a couple of double plays in the first 2 innings of this ball game. He gives up the leadoff home run to Freddie Freeman. Single to Matt Kemp. Working on Markakis. Just with the doctor order. 6-4 to 3. Another double play.
That has been the saving grace for Joe Musgrove in this ball game. Putting a lot of runners on, pitching out of some serious situations. Strike him out, throw him out, 4-6-3. Now you get a look at the 6-4-3 going to the shortstop Carlos Correa with the easy flip, and then the showtime turn by Jose Altuve.
Altuve made that look easier than it was.
Or he made it look flashier than it needed to be.
Either
Some
way,
would say.
it was effective. Adonis Garcia, who hit into another one of those. He hit into the 4-6-3 double play. That was back in the 2nd inning.
You can dress it up when you're a perennial all-star.
Able to hold up 1-0. Cuban-born Adonis Garcia. One's outside. It's 2-0. We're in the 4th. Musgrove The pitch count has been regulated a little bit now, but it's still at 62 pitches. Hit into the seats down along the right side. 2 balls and 1 strike. Make the play? I think she did. That one hit well to right. Going back to Springer, and it's gone. Second home run of the inning, and the Atlanta Braves take a 2-1 lead. His 4th home run of the season. That ball was well struck.
Center cut. How big is that double play now? Keeping those runners off base and keeping this to a solo home run, only allowing 2 in this inning for those 2 runs. George getting back in action out there in right field with Marisnik taking over center field. This time that jump a little bit. Tough play.
That misses on the inside corner to Kurt Suzuki. So Freeman led off the inning with a solo home run. Adonis Garcia leaves Oppo, and it's 2 solo home runs makes it 2-1 Atlanta Braves. The veteran Kurt Suzuki, a .214 hitter, a single back in the 3rd inning. Misses inside. It's 3-0. '24-year-old Joe Musgrove working here in the 4th. That's in there for a strike. Gets back in the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Might have gotten away with one there. Yep. Pretty good pitch to hit for Suzuki.
Two runs in, the 3-ball, 2-strike pitch with 2 outs. Got him swinging. But the damage has been done. Freddie Freeman, a solo home run. Adonis Garcia doing the same. And a 2-run 4th. The Atlanta Braves lead the Astros 2-1. Houston Methodist. This should show you exactly why. Should be a fun series at Yankee Stadium coming up over the weekend. The Astros 2nd in the American League, 3rd in the big leagues in batting average, and tops right now in opponent batting average. Offense has been good. The pitching has been very good for the Houston Astros. These are our league leaders, brought to you by Houston Methodist. Big reason why the Astros are 22-11 for their best 33-game start since 1973. Correa leads it off, takes ball 1. Carlos with that 3-run homer last night. That was his 4th home run of the season. Hit the batter's eye and hit about 3/4 of the way up on that batter's eye.
Ball was well struck.
1-1. That was one remarked last night when he hit it that you didn't have to see it to know that it was hit well. It just sounded different. Remember hearing during batting practice, you'd hear guys, just some guys that just sounded different.
Until Jeff Bagwell stepped in.
You know who else was like that? It was Moises Alou.
Really?
There's another one. You could hear him hit batting practice.
Oh, man, he was a strong human. Lance Berkman was one of those guys, too. Just crisp. All jumping off their bats.
Correa in a hitter's count here at 3-1. Garcia misses outside, so the leadoff man is on here in the fourth. The Astros with a chance here after the Braves took the 2-1 lead in the top half of the inning. Brings up the former Atlanta Brave, Evan Gattis. Gattis played 213 games for the Atlanta Braves back in 2013, as well as 2014. 43 homers and 117 runs batted in an Atlanta Brave uniform. 2010 23rd round pick of the Atlanta Braves. That one up the middle. Swanson will step on the bag, throw across, and the 6-3 double play.
Hey, you guys talking about BP? I don't know, Blummer, about you, but I'm looking forward to going to Miami. Have you seen Giancarlo Stanton take BP?
I have not yet.
Yeah, get you a good
That
seat.
should be good. Well, how about Aaron Judge for the New York Yankees,
Yeah,
and then
that
going
too.
to Miami to see Giancarlo Stanton? That is going to be some thunderous batting practice.
But put up nets on those clubs out in the outfield. Judge broke a television in left center field at Yankee Stadium in one of the bar areas up there.
Yeah, where they said nobody will hit one up here.
Exactly. We don't need any protection up here.
Well, there were a couple times, didn't Stanton? He had a couple in Miami where if the roof hadn't been closed, it would have left the entire ballpark.
1 ball, 1 strike. Gurriel on the ground to Garcia. High throw. And Gurriel is safe at first on the E5. The Braves open the door a bit to see if the Astros can take advantage with Marwin Gonzalez stepping in.
Marwin swinging a good bat. But yeah, anytime you give the opposing team another out, they try and take advantage of it, and good teams do. And the Astros have done a good job of that this season, taking advantage of errors, but plenty of time for Adonis Garcia to make the play here. Just airmailed it. Actually pretty lucky that Freddie Freeman didn't let that one go about 6 rows deep.
Well, Marwin Gonzalez with a team high 9 home runs. Stands in from the right side against the left-hander, Jaime Garcia. Spins that one in there for a strike. And Marwin got hit on the back, was it the back foot by that pitch in Anaheim? Yeah. Missed the Sunday game, sat out yesterday. That just looked painful, right on the, and you could tell by his reaction.
Oh, he was down doing the tuna in a hurry, flopping around.
That misses 1-1. Astros playing another afternoon game here. Wrapped up the season, wrapped up the 4-game series with the Texas Rangers. An afternoon game. Looking for a different result here. Trailing 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. It's 2-1. Dallas Keuchel will get the start tomorrow against Michael Pineda. That at Yankee Stadium. Game you can see here on Root Sports. Starting at 5:30. The pregame show. Gurriel reached on an error, leads away from first base. Pitch to Marwin. In there for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The numbers that Marwin has put up, the power numbers have been more surprising than anything else, needless to say. The 9 home runs, 21 runs batted in.
Well, he's done a good job for me at laying off pitches out of the zone, so his chase percentage has gone down. Therefore, pitchers are having to come back in the zone, much like we saw Altuve last year. He's gotten better pitches to hit.
That one hit to right. It'll drop in for a base hit. Gurriel will go first to third. And Marwin, they throw behind Marwin. Freddie Freeman's got him hung up in a rundown. And there's nobody covering at first. Astros got a break there. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be Phillips or Jaime Garcia, the covering first base, but neither one got there. And the Astros have first and third with 2 outs.
Yeah, that's actually a tough one to call, because you would like to see the pitcher chase that one down, but it's such a unique play to have the hitter overrun first base and be thrown behind. It was a good piece of hitting, getting that off the hands and going the other way. But Bonifacio did a great job in recognizing that Marwin had taken such a big turn and threw behind him. What could have been a base running blunder has turned into a safe call at first. Now you got a first and third situation with a guy in Alex Bregman, who has been hitting .400 with guys in scoring position, 2 outs.
12 for 27, hitting .444 with runners in scoring position. Bregman getting an opportunity here. Fouled off the right side.
And you got a couple of guys bought a ticket to the game in Brandon Phillips and Jaime Garcia, because with Freddie Freeman getting rid of that ball early, he does the right thing, and you see him pointing to the pitcher, Jaime Garcia, somebody pick me up. But nobody there to pick him up. Therefore, you're going to up that pitch count a little bit with Bregman at the plate.
Throw over. I'm wondering if the first reaction for Jaime Garcia was to at least lean towards going to back up third base, that first thought.
That is the instinct, and that's what they are taught.
And maybe that caused him to be late to get to first base, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, Brandon Phillips kind of shading that way, going towards the baseball. Would have been nice to be able to come around, but that's a tough play.
Bregman takes 1-1. Correa led off the inning with a walk. He was erased on a 6-3 double play. Evan Gaddis hit into. Correa reached on an error, and Marwin with a single has first and third. A ball and 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Atlanta Braves leading the Astros 2-1. Atlanta a couple of solo home runs. Astros got their run. RBI double by George Springer in the 3rd. Bregman sends this one to right. Should be easy for Bonifacio. That is the first fly ball out of the game, and the Astros strand 2 as we go to the 5th. 2-1. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Giraffes with an explosive first step. Has Team Blummer made it to the Houston Zoo yet?
We have not yet. That's one of the things we have yet to do, but it looks like something we got to get out there and get the girls to check out what the zoo has to offer.
Dansby Swanson leads things off here in the 5th inning. The thing you have to hit is zoo lights around Christmas time. Highly recommend.
What is that?
Check it out.
Check it out.
The zoo is all outfitted in Christmas lights.
Okay.
I don't know if outfitted is a word, but that's the case, and it's certainly worth it. Probably a nice, cool, crisp night in December.
I like it.
It's a little hot chocolate. Go for a walk. Watch the animals sleep.
Do giraffes lie down when they sleep?
That one fouled away. That I don't know.
We'll have to get Julie on that one.
With the Google machine, there are no unanswered questions.
I was going to say, right?
1 ball, 2 strikes. Plenty of foul balls in this one today. These pitchers have had some work to do. This will be the 74th pitch of the game for Joe Musgrove. Tried to bend that one in. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swanson walked back in the 3rd inning. He would end up being stranded in the 3rd. Braves got 2 in the 4th on solo home runs by Freddie Freeman and Adonis Garcia. Here's the pitch. Bregman played well, throws across, dug out by Gurriel, and there's 1 out.
Nice play by Bregman. Good jump. using those feet to get that baseball before it takes that second hop. It's a good look at it. Just a little bounce, give them the balls to your feet, and then make that good first step.
The roof closed. Beautiful night last night. Today with some threat of possible rain. Keep the roof closed today. I don't think anybody's complaining about that. Braves lead at 2-1. Bonifacio sack bunt back in the third inning. Bats here in the fifth. Right at Altuve. He pulled it back in from right field and threw him out.
Nicely done by Jose.
That ball was by him for an instance.
Jose is hitless on the day, but this ball rocketed off the bat of Bonifacio, and you're right, with that angle he took, it was a little bit past him when he laid out to make that great play. Helping out Joe Musgrove on a rough afternoon, fighting through some of these innings and high pitch counts.
Ender Inciarte is taken to the top of the order. Leadoff man. Walked in the first, struck out in the third. Had a bad at bat in the third inning. Musgrove scuffling with his command. Inciarte came into the box hacking. Fouled off. It's 2 balls and a strike. One of the great runs in all of professional sports. The 1991 through 2005 run of the Atlanta Braves, dominating the National League East.
Yeah, they were really good.
3 guys in the Hall of Fame, top of the rotation to prove it. Altuve's inning throws out Inciarte, and after 4.5, the Braves lead 2-1.
Games and seat locations that work best for you with the 15-game flex plan or 5-game pack. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/mini-plans.
2-1, the Atlanta Braves lead it as Jake Marisnick leads off here in the 5th inning. Inside Jeff Blum, Kevin Eschenfelder with you upstairs. Todd Callis will be back with the club coming up tomorrow in New York. Julia Morales down on the field. A ball and a strike to Marisnick. Now hitting .281 for the season after that single in the third inning. Singled and scored on George Springer's RBI double. Astros only run of the game.
Fitness classes started early out there.
What's that?
Bullpen. Guys are getting loose, limbering up,
Stretching.
potential phone call.
There you go. Starting to move around.
Greg Bjornson, the lead instructor. See him walking towards the back with the stretchy band around him.
Marisnick takes a walk.
I'll tell you what, this is the inning against Jaime Garcia. As you take a look at Craig Bjornson getting the boys ready out there in the bullpen, he is a great guy. He is one of the funniest people you'll ever meet.
Always a smile on his face.
Yes. But for Jaime Garcia, his ERA in the first 4 innings is a 1.80. After that, from the 5th inning on, 8.68.
So in the 5th inning here at Minute Maid Park, you would think that it would be the Braves bullpen that would start to stir. Speaking of bullpens, last night Sam Freeman really, I mean, you got a starting pitcher that ends up giving 8 earned runs, 5 of which coming in the first inning, and you only use 2 pitchers in the game.
Pretty incredible.
That's
how you don't get the numbers in the on the back of your baseball card, but your street cred goes way up in the clubhouse when you do things like that. That was a pretty good job by Sam Freeman to battle through the end of that game last night.
He may have, that time on that pickoff, may have faked out Freddie Freeman.
It's a borderline balk
That
move
is
for me.
exactly what I was thinking. Man, Jaime, you know, and that you see the balks that guys will call, you know, the accidental separation of hands and things like that that really are not deceiving a runner, but technically I understand they are a balk. That is the absolute definition of deceiving a runner.
I mean, everything is leaning towards home plate, yet he's making that throw to first base.
Good lead by Marisnik.
Well, Jake got a good jump on him after that base hit he got in the third inning. Put himself in scoring position, but that was with 2 outs. It was a good time to take a chance.
Leadoff walk by Marisnik. Atlanta leads 2-1. Now 3 balls and a strike.
You're a little more patient with Jake at first base with less than 2 outs, just in the sense that he can score from first base on a ball in the gap.
Throw over. Basically the same move.
For those wondering at home, there are hitters meetings before most games, and they'll go over the pitchers, the guys in the bullpen, and they will tell them if they have a good move to first, if it's a balk move.
The hit on the ground to Swanson could be 2. Phillips turns it easily. The leadoff man erased for the 2nd consecutive inning. The leadoff walk not hurting Jaime Garcia. Correa walked the lead off the 4th, and Gaddis hit into the double play. Now here's Carlos Beltran with 2 outs and nobody on.
46th double play the
Isn't that
Astros have
amazing?
grounded into. It is amazing. And if we're being brutally honest, it's annoying.
Is a piece of hitting right there by a professional hitter. Serves that into right field, and Carlos Beltran is on with 2 outs. Jose Altuve.
Crafty veteran up there doing his work. Walked last time up, but understanding how he's being pitched, not trying to do too much. Just go with that fastball away, get yourself on base, and keep this thing moving.
Altuve grounded out to Brandon Phillips in the 1st, and then a comebacker in the 3rd inning. And Jaime Garcia threw him out. Braves on top 2-1. It's in there for a low strike. Altuve looking to make it a 5-game hitting streak. Big knock. He could come up with one here. Off-speed pitch misses high. That's really cool. I don't know if you've been out there or not, but fans can be right next to the dugout, right next to the bullpen, I should say.
Yeah, that new walkway behind the bullpen. Get a good idea of what guys are bringing to the table when they're getting loose out there in that bullpen. That is a good view.
2 balls and a strike. Beltran at first with a 2-out single. Jose Altuve has been so good against left-handed pitching. He's been basically, it doesn't matter what hand you throw with. That's 3-1. Correa waits on deck. What do you think the over-under on number of times Jose Altuve adjusts his helmet in a game?
72.
Takes a walk. 2 on, 2 outs.
I might take the over on that.
Braves pitching coach Chuck Hernandez will make his way to the mound. have a word with Kurt Suzuki and his left-hander Jaime Garcia.
Nobody getting loose in that Atlanta Brave bullpen, and this is just a conversation to calm him down a little bit. Pitch count's rising, but tell him he's probably got to be extremely careful with Carlos Correa up there. This is the guy, Jaime. This is the guy last night that hit one off the batter's eye in center field. Make sure you make a good pitch.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I was watching.
Good luck. I'll go back to the dugout and watch.
4 2/3 as of right now with 2 men on. Put up the 4 hits, just the 1 earned run. He has walked 4, including the leadoff man in the last 2 innings. But in both cases, the leadoff man erased on a double play. Carlos Correa trying to do some 2-out damage here. That's in there for a strike. See that batter eye to dead center field. He hit one about 3/4 of the way up. Just above the H. It's outside, 1-1. Put a dent in that thing.
Got to reinforce it. Got a lot of people asking about the ivy on that wall. It is artificial.
Yes, it is. And then you go up and it's actually video of an ivy. That's a good pitch right there, and Correa didn't like it.
Yeah, it might have been off that outside corner. There's the video ivy. Good eye by Carlos.
Yep.
Maybe a seam catches it, but still not the pitch he was looking for.
Would you call that virtual vegetation?
Yes. Good call.
Correa, if it stays fair, it's a fair ball. Beltran scores. Altuve coming to the plate. He will score, and the Astros on a 2-run double by Carlos Correa take a 3-2 lead.
5th inning is when things start to fall apart for Jaime Garcia. Base hit and a walk. After getting that big double play off the bat of George Springer, you see Carlos Correa stepping up in a big spot. Another 2-out, couple of RBIs for Carlos Correa. And that slider again backed up on the inside corner. And that was a great job by Carlos Correa, who was waiting to see if it would stay fair, and it did. He has been coming up in the clutch with some big hits, but also give credit to Jose Altuve hustling right off the bat with 2 outs, knowing that he had to get on his horse to score that run to put the Astros ahead.
Scoring from first, and now Gaddis at the plate with a runner in scoring position. 2-run double by Correa. All 3 of the Astros runs have come on RBI doubles. RBI double by George Springer in the 3rd. Now the 2-run double by Correa here in the 5th. Still all quiet in the Atlanta bullpen. Pitch to Gaddis is upstairs, 2-0. Jaime Garcia in his career has struggled in this ballpark. An ERA of 7.08. It's in 7 career games here at Minute Maid Park. I know every year is a different year, but I would think even for a veteran, you get that aura about you that I just don't pitch well there, or I don't hit well there. It gets into your.
Well, you have that many starts and you've given up that many runs. Eventually, it does get in your head because you've probably tried to make several adjustments and they just haven't worked.
Astros with 2 runs in here in the 5th. It's off the plate. 3 balls and a strike.
It's a good chance there's going to be a healthy hack from Evan Gaddis if this pitch is anywhere in the vicinity.
Astros have scored all 3 runs with 2 outs. Looking for more here. Missed outside.
Time now for today's Player Spotlight, brought to you by Shiner Light Blonde, and it is Yuli Gurriel in his Major League career versus righties, hitting .304 against lefties. Kind of a reverse matchup for Yuli Gurriel. Usually those right-handed hitters are very good against left-handed pitchers, but this is not the case for Yuli Gurriel. Still trying to figure it out against left-handed pitching, but he has got the right-handers down pretty well.
Reached on an error in the fourth. Remember, Gurriel started the season 2 for 21. He has recovered nicely. Now, Jaime Garcia trying to do some damage control. But Gurriel, slow start to the season, now hitting .280. Reached on an error in the fourth inning. Jason Mott begins to warm up in the Atlanta bullpen. With 2 men on and 2 outs. 1-0. We're in the bottom of the fifth. The Astros leading the Atlanta Braves 3-2. The Astros won last night's game 8-3. Houston has won 7 of its last 9. Looking for a 2-game sweep here before heading on to New York for a 4-game series. That one right back up the middle. If it gets through, and it does. Correa will score to make it 4-2 on the RBI single by Yuli Gurriel.
Use a lot of numbers in this game, and it's pretty amazing when they show up, like this ERA for Jaime Garcia in the 5th inning on. Getting roughed up here. 3 walks in this inning, 3 base hits now, leading to the 3 runs for the Houston Astros. Good job by Yuli, trying to get those numbers up against left-handed pitching. Just knock a simple ground ball up the middle for an RBI with 2 outs.
And I know you haven't seen him enough to, but in general, maybe not with Jaime Garcia, but when you see that trend with the pitcher, there's a swing and a miss by Marwin. Is it a fatigue? You lose command? Is it a third time through the order? Is it a little bit of everything?
A couple of things. And what you brought up was a very valid point. It could be pitch count. He's in the 90s coming into this inning, and you start to lose that feel a little bit. You start to force the ball in there, and you see Jaime Garcia missing to the arm side, which means that arm is laboring coming through. But again, too, it's also that third, fourth time through the order where guys start to pick up on your delivery and your tendencies and start to square you up.
Marwin swings through the 0-1 pitch. It's 0-2.
But I've got to feel that Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach for the Atlanta Braves, has got to address the issue of walks. This is now back-to-back starts. I know that this previous start for Jaime Garcia got washed away, but according to the stat sheet, it's back-to-back starts of 5 walks in each of them.
This will be the 30th pitch of the inning, and Marwin hits it in the air. To center field. That'll retire the side, but the Astros put a 3 spot on the board in the 5th, and after 5, lead it 4-2.
The 2017 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to astros.com/vote to choose your ASG-worthy stars and send them to the All-Star Game presented by MasterCard on July 11th in Miami. Joe Musgrove back out here for the 6th. This is 3rd time through for Musgrove. We'll see what happens here. But, guys, I wanted to say just, we hear a lot with Musgrove. It's quality strikes versus strikes. That's very important for him. And he's very cerebral. We hear him after his post-game. He's usually really frustrated when he fails to set up a certain pitch. And Blemmer, I wanted to ask you on how, when the guy has this many pitches that he can throw for strikes and that are effective, these at-bats are pretty well thought out, aren't they?
Yeah, they definitely have a game plan, and each guy has a game plan. We know that Evan Gattis has been behind home plate. This is the first time that Evans actually worked with Joe Musgrove, so a little bit of a learning curve with that. But Brent Strom is in with these guys, constantly talking about how to get these guys out and namely stay away from the barrel. Joe has very good sink on the fastball. He has a good slider, the occasional changeup and breaking ball, but basically a 2-pitch pitcher. And how do you set up that pitcher is what Julia's kind of hinting at. And that's kind of what we talked about early in the open, is Joe being able to get inside on right-handed hitters, and we call it standing them up, which means make them cognizant of the inside corner so they don't start leaning out over the plate. As soon as he stands those guys up, then it opens up that outside corner to get to that slider, stay off the barrel, and possibly get a punch out.
Well, Freddie Freeman, who had struck out 4 consecutive at-bats here in this series before leaving the yard the opposite way in the 4th inning, as you see James Hoyt warming up for the Astros. Got the Braves on the board. 1 of 2 solo home runs in the 4th inning. It was his 12th home run of the year. That is the 12th ground ball out of the game for Joe Musgrove.
That's what we're talking about, avoiding barrels. You saw the pitch before and setting guys up. You set them out, you set them up in to out, out to in, up to down. You're trying to change eye level. You're trying to change speeds, but did a good job getting in the kitchen after a high fastball on Freddie Freeman.
Now, Musgrove could use a quick inning here. He's at 87 pitches. The vast majority of those came in the first 3 innings. Swing and a miss by Matt Kemp. Kemp singled to extend his hitting streak to 11 games back in the 4th. It's Musgrove working here in the 6th. One ball and 1 strike. 7-game road trip coming up for the Astros. 4 in New York, 3 in Miami. That ball hit well to left and right in the tracks of Marwin Gonzalez. An 8-pitch 6th inning for Joe Musgrove. Astros lead 4-2. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. And Robinson Cano left the game in Philadelphia with a quadriceps strain. Zach Britton out for at least a couple of weeks at forearm injury. And Matt Harvey, what a mess they got going in New York right now.
Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. Plenty of tabloids up there already, and they're just fueling the fire.
Yeah, apologized for missing Saturday's game. We'll see how that plays in the clubhouse. But just flat missed the game.
How do you do that?
Hey, we've all overslept, but that's, man, you imagine what it's like whenever you.
We've all shown up to work in some pretty bad shape. And that's never been an excuse. Sorry.
Got a 3-game suspension for it. Terry Collins, he trying to hold it together. You got injuries. You got
guys that don't want to show up.
Guys that maybe shouldn't show up and did and get injured. There's a ground ball to Dansby Swanson. He'll throw Bregman out. 1 out here in the 6th. Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros. The Astros leading at 4-2. Astros get 3 in the 5th inning. This will bring up Jake Marisnik. Jake 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. Single back in the 3rd inning. Ended up scoring the Astros' first run. Garcia, 2 outs. Astros got him right where they want him. All of the Astros runs have come with 2 outs in the ballgame. 2 outs in the inning. Luke Gregerson warming up now for the Astros. George Springer grounding out in the 1st. RBI double in the 3rd and hit into a double play in the 5th. Astros got the leadoff man on via the walk in the 4th and the 5th inning, only to see that runner erased on a double play. There's Luke Gregerson. Fouled off 1-1. Astros 22-11. Flip the script on not having much success against left-handed starting pitchers this season. This time the Astros had this good a record. It's only happened one other time in franchise history, 33 games in, and that was in 1973. A win today would be the best 34-game start in franchise history. It would tie them with the 99 club, 73 and 1972. He sold out on that. Pulled out the driver there and just missed.
He actually had pretty good recognition of that, just couldn't barrel it up.
Got him looking to end the 6th inning. We go to the 7th. Luke Gregerson making his way to the mound. The Astros leading 4-2. To you by Kubota's. The Astros go to the bullpen, and that was the secret to success last night. Chris Davinsky worked an inning and a third, struck out 3 Atlanta Braves. He would make way for Luke Gregerson, who pitched a scoreless 8th, and then Mike Feliz came in to finish things off in the 9th inning as the Astros won the opener of this 2-game series 8-3, and now Luke Gregerson will come into work for Houston.
There's a look at Luke Gregerson. Astros holding on to that 4-2 lead. Pitched well the other night. Looking to get those numbers down. Got beat around a little bit.
Markakis fouls that one back. Musgrove finishes up 6 innings. 2 earned runs on 4 hits. He walked 3, struck out 4, and allowed the 2 home runs. Markakis, a .284 hitter, walked back in the 2nd inning. Get into a double play in the 4th as Gregerson works here in the 7th. On the ground to Gurriel. He'll take it himself. 1 away.
Good to see Luke getting those ground balls. Only threw 9 pitches last night. Able to make that quick turnaround with his day game today.
It was a good situation to get Gregerson in last night's game as well. That scoreless 8th inning. Struck out 1, got a couple of flyouts. Adonis Garcia got a home run in the right field seats. Solo shot. That's a good pitch there. That was back in the 4th inning.
That's a pitch you want to see Luke get back, is that slider sweeping across the zone. Usually has some pretty good late break to it.
That is no recognition either. Garcia did not see that coming. Swings through another one.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to be hyper aggressive against Luke Gregerson. You want to let that ball travel a little bit. If you're trying to do what Adonis Garcia is doing, is you're trying to hit that ball well out in front of home plate. By the time you're trying to hit it out there, it's breaking away from your bat.
The 0-2. Fouled away. One out here in the top of the 7th inning. The Astros leading 4-2.
Talked about how good the bullpen was last night. Luke was in on the action. Even with his high ERA, the Astros are 6th in Major League Baseball with a 3.01 bullpen ERA.
Didn't offer there. Were able to hold up. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Astros looking to go 29-13 in interleague play over the last 3 seasons. Be the best record in baseball. Chance to go to 12 games over 500 before leaving on the road trip. Now Garcia back in the count at 2-2. Jose Ramirez begins to warm up for the Atlanta Braves. You know, and AJ was a bit concerned, if for no other reason, just that part of the schedule where you got 3 in Anaheim, Pacific time zone. Then you come back here for 2 before heading east to New York and Miami. And a Braves team that had been scuffling coming in. To be able to keep everything right where it was, and now they lead 4-2 here in the 7th inning as they look for this 2-game sweep. Beautiful night last night with the roof open. Roof closed here today. At Minute Maid Park, an afternoon game. Got him with a high fastball, and Garcia goes down swinging.
Good to see Luke, even though he fell behind, continuing to get after it. Sped that one up right past Garcia.
One of those at bats where the first 3 sliders paid off with the fastball at the top of the zone.
Yeah, you talk about setting up. You can do it with location. You can also do it with speed. Slow down the hands and eyes of Garcia. Made that fastball look a little bit quicker than it actually was.
Kurt Suzuki with a solid single, first hit of the game. That was back in the 3rd inning. Two outs here in the 7th. That misses 2-0. Three balls and no strikes. Astros looking for their 23rd win of the season. The 3-0. In there for a strike. It's 3-1. Has been a good offense and very solid pitching has got the Astros to where they are right now. Tied for the league lead in wins. The 3-1 pitch. That's a good pitch under the hands. It's 3-2.
Not afraid to come in there. Good movement. Tailing back in. Now you got him thinking. You got a very good slider. You could flip one in there and maybe get the swing and miss or a rollover. But at the same time, you just planted the seed that you're not afraid to throw that fastball in.
The 3-2. Bregman on the backhand. Throws across and we stretch in Houston. Astros leading the Braves 4-2.
Astros Buddies memberships are on sale now for only $25. Buddies members receive a voucher for 4 tickets to a select Astros game, front of the line access to Kids Run the Bases, exclusive player autograph sessions, and more. Visit astros.com/buddies for all the details to purchase a membership for kids up to 12 years old. Kevin, you were just talking about what went into or what has gone into the Astros' success so far this year. A.J. Hinch was telling the media this morning that what he's noticed with this group, or what he's been impressed with the start of the season, is the resiliency, but the calmness that there is to this team, and they have when they're competing. It's a maturation of the young core, but as well as the additions that they brought in. But he said it's just the ability to play all 27 outs, whether we score 5 in the first or we're down early. We're very stable throughout the entire game.
Yeah, without question, and at their best at the end of the game, 7th inning and beyond. Now Jason Mott making his 5th appearance of the season. Mott, who started the season at AAA. Another one of these former St. Louis Cardinals. In to face Carlos Beltran. It's in there for a strike. And Jason Mott, the converted catcher.
He had a good arm when he was with St. Louis. Throwing in the mid to upper 90s.
Veteran that's been around. This is his 6th appearance. I said 5th. This is 6th appearance for the Atlanta Braves. 4 consecutive scoreless appearances for Jason Mott. 34-year-old veteran. Will Harris warms up for the Astros. Misses away. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Well, Carlos steps in here, batting the 2-hole today. 1 for 2 on the day, has a walk in the 3rd inning and singled in the 5th. Singled and scored in that 5th inning. Way inside, 2-2. Astros looking for their first 3-game winning streak over the Atlanta Braves since 1996. Fouled away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Count remains.
Jason Mott has got the Gaylord Perry routine down to a T. I mean, he's going to the back of the hat. He's rubbing the bald head. This is impressive.
Squints in, trying to get the sign.
Yep, please hold.
Thought that was interesting too. Did you see him throw up his hand to say that's okay? I'm guessing he and Beltran were teammates in St. Louis. That misses away, and now the count goes full, 3-2.
Let it begin. Grab the back of the hat, just in front of the jersey.
Ball ripped foul.
Just a little too quick on that cutter from Jason Mott.
Fouled off. Beltran stays alive, 3-2. Astros and Braves, they'll meet again in interleague play on the 4th of July. That'll be in Atlanta. First trip in for SunTrust Park there in North Atlanta. Astros will get a good look at that ballpark in its first season. And on the back of his hat.
You hope it's just rosin, but this day and age, can't be too sure about that.
3-2. Walked him.
But he could have something on his beard, the back of his neck, the top of his head, the front of his cap. He's got quite the antics going on. Good AB by Carlos Beltran, laying off several of those pitches to get himself on first base again.
That is the 6th walk issued by Atlanta Brave pitching today. Garcia finishes up going 6 innings, gave up 4 earned runs on 6 hits, walked 5 and struck out 4. And now Jose Altuve take his hacks on Jason Mott. Altuve out in front, 1-0. Did you enjoy playing in New York?
Which one?
Yankee Stadium.
Loved old Yankee Stadium.
Now, I'm going to guess, Shea was not exactly the
Shea, we thought Jimmy Hoffa was buried underneath that thing. I'll tell you what, there was a walkway from the clubhouse to the dugout at Shea Stadium. There might have been a couple of corpses buried underneath that walkway. It was ancient and it smelled rank. Too much information, I apologize.
Back. That's okay. It's okay. It's not quite the dinner hour yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want to ruin any appetite you had going today. It was bad. I loved old Yankee Stadium, though. I loved stepping into that box, just knowing, the history that had been there before I was, and I got to be a part of it.
So compare and contrast. What do you think about the new Yankee Stadium?
It's cold.
Yeah, opulent. It's very big, and it's very.
I mean, they did a great job. Obviously, I think it's I'm assuming it's fan friendly.
Hit on the ground to Phillips, 4-6 to 3. Another double play turned by the Atlanta Braves. And what a pattern. Leadoff walk, double play.
Got them right where they want them.
3rd time it's happened in the game.
Yeah, they do all their damage with 2 outs. These double plays are helping.
All 4 Astro runs have come with 2 outs. The underrated ballpark, though, is Citi Field.
What's that?
I think the underrated ballpark in New York is Citi
that's
Field.
A great place.
It really is.
I thought they did a good job with that. Gave it some personality.
And what the Astros did here at Minute Maid Park out in center field reminds me a lot of Citi Field.
Yeah.
1-0 to Carlos Correa. Correa with the big hit today. Two-run double back in the 5th inning. Gave the Astros the lead, and they lead it now 4-2. That one ripped to right. Bonifacio throws it in, and Carlos Correa with his 2nd double of the game.
Told you, 2-out lightning. Smoked that ball down the right field line, and running right in the face of Emilio Bonifacio was Carlos Correa to get himself into scoring position. I like it. With 2 outs as a hitter, you have the opportunity to get yourself in scoring position. You do it. And that's exactly what Carlos Correa was thinking immediately off the bat. Very nicely done by the young man.
His 10th double of the season, 2nd double of the day. And Bonifacio played that well. Got it in a hurry, got into that corner. Now Evan Gattis with a runner in scoring position. That's where the Astros have done their damage today. 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position for a team that has been great at that all season long. Misses off the plate, 1-1. Gattis walked back in the 5th inning. One pitch from Jason Mott. It's 2-1. After this road trip in New York and Miami, the Astros come home for a really nice homestand to start on the 19th of May. Cleveland in for 3. Brett Ausmus brings his Detroit Tigers in for 4. And it'll be the Baltimore Orioles in for a 3-game series. 10-game homestand coming up after this road trip.
Much needed. I'm going to have some dry cleaning sitting at the dry cleaners for the next week or so. I didn't have a chance to go pick it up.
It'll be there.
It better.
Fans having a good time today. 20th home game of the season. The Astros looking to go 14-6 here at Minute Maid Park. Wow, look out. Shards of wood go all over the place. There it is.
Yeah, that'll happen when the end of the bat is cupped. And you see Evan Gattis get out ahead. The pitch will actually take off part of that cup on the end of the bat, cause that thing to splinter. Or it's the sawdust you were talking about earlier.
It just weakens the wood after a while. Either compresses it or weakens it. How picky were you about your bats?
I vary. I was particular, and not too many guys liked the way my bats felt.
Fouled off.
The handles on my bats were just a little bit thicker than everybody else's. Some guys didn't like it. Like Craig Biggio swung one of the worst feeling bats I've ever touched in my life. Even to this day, if he brought it up into the booth, I probably wouldn't grab it. It was thick. It didn't have a knob at the end of it. Kind of one of those,
yeah,
you know, tie cob
bell
straight.
At the bottom,
yeah. And then he'd proceed to put about 1.5 inches of tape wrapped around that thing to make it that much thicker. It was awful, but it worked for him.
That it did. That it did. That one fouled back. You know, I toured the Louisville Slugger plant, and they were telling me about they had made a handmade bat for Craig when he was in pursuit of the 3,000 hits, and it just wasn't the same. It couldn't be as exact as the computer making the bat.
Oh, sure.
And yeah, he used it. I don't think he used it much. They went back to the computer-generated baseball bats. With a machine run by the computer.
And you talk about a very particular, I don't know if it's superstitious guy, Craig Biggio.
Didn't want anybody touching him, right?
Oh man, there were several hundred things you couldn't do to any of Biggio's stuff. It's good to see the Altuve fans in attendance right there. That was a good sign.
It's funny because just the opposite. I think it was Mother's Day, and I was out in Anaheim, and we were doing a little demonstration on the pregame, and clubhouse attendant said, I said I need a bat. And Carl said, just grab one of Altuve's. I said, I'm not going to grab one of Altuve's bats. So he goes, here, just take it. He hands it to me. I'm walking out there. He handed it back to Altuve. He's like, yeah, no problem. He didn't care. Gaddis will fly out to end the 7th inning. We go to the 8th. The Astros leading it 4-2.
J.J. Watt Charity Classic back to Minute Maid Park Saturday, May 13th. The 5th annual charitable event features a home run derby followed by a softball game between offensive and defensive players from the Houston Texans. All proceeds from this family-friendly event will benefit the J.J. Watt Foundation. Visit Astros.com/JJ Watt for tickets and more information. We were talking about J.J. Watt and his BP because he crushes balls. Speaking of crushing baseballs. Oof.
Yeah, that ball's annihilated.
Wow. He hits him a long way.
Yes, he does.
First time I saw him hit BP was in spring training in Port St. Lucie, and it hurt every time he hit a baseball. The sound of it hurt my bones. How is that even possible?
Well, isn't it crazy that he hits those majestic shots, but they're not towering? They're line drives that are going 1 billion miles an hour.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Exactly.
It seriously sounds like a shotgun.
I'll bring my earplugs.
Will Harris working for the 14th time this season. In '98, Mark McGwire was like that. People would get here early to watch batting practice. Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Sammy, Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds. But McGwire, and it was almost as if McGwire and Sosa would put on a show. Bonds looked like he was out there doing work, whereas McGwire and Sammy Sosa were giving the fans what they wanted.
No, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were in launch mode.
I was here when you and Todd have talked about it before. I was here the night that Sammy hit the lights.
That was ridiculous.
It's low to Dansby Swanson. It's 3-1.
So to Julia's point about how hard Giancarlo Stanton can hit the baseball, the 2 hardest hit baseballs this season. Number 1, Aaron Judge, 119.4 miles an hour off the bat. Second place, Giancarlo Stanton, 118.7 miles an hour.
What's third?
118.5, Mark Trumbo.
That's hit well. It'll drop in. It'll drop in for a single. Well, the way left field and Marwin and Marisnik were going together, it looked like that ball was going to split the gap. Instead, it fell right in between.
I thought somebody was going to have a chance to make a play. Kind of off the end of the bat, that cut fastball from Will Harris, and you can see.
Just don't think Marwin saw that well.
I agree.
I was playing off of Marwin too. He looked like he was taking an angle back towards the fence. Ball drops in, so a leadoff single here, and now Bonifacio drops down the bunt. Bregman safe at first, and now first and second for the Atlanta Braves. That goes as a base hit. It's the second time in the game we've seen Bonifacio drop down outstanding bunts.
Really has. Does a good job of getting that off the end of the bat, and in doing so deadens that baseball. It was a phenomenal play by Alex Bregman just to make that play close, but Gurriel unable to pick that. A couple of base runners on now.
And back to the top of the order. In a 2-run game here in the 8th. Will Harris with some work to do. And Ciarte can't get the bunt down. You see Bregman and Gurriel both playing in on the grass in anticipation of the bunt here. back in the first inning, struck out in the third, and grounded out in the fifth. We're in the eighth. And Ciarte still can't get the bunt down. It's 0-2.
A.J. Hinch talked about Ciarte as early in his career was a bunting machine, now unable to do it.
Quick story yesterday. We told it last night. AJ was one of those who signed him in the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. And he said Ciarte would bunt in the minor leagues. He says you can't bunt in the minor leagues. You got to hit to get to the big leagues. What is bunt in Spanish?
No toque.
No toque.
Well, toque is bunt, but he would
AJ
would say no toque.
And so in a spring training game, said Ciarte stepped out of the box, looked into the Astros dugout, said no toque. Here's something to smile about, brought to you by Cricket Wireless. Harris looking for something to smile about right now. He's got an 0-2 count, but 23,676 on hand here today at Minute Maid Park. But to watch fast, only here for about 18 hours. The Astros back out on the road. The 0-2 pitch into Ciarte, and a weak swing, he got it.
Talk about quality ABs, and Ciarte has had a couple today that he would like to have back. Put himself in a funk by not being able to get that bunt down. Ends up with a punch out.
And the 2 strikeouts were bad at bats for Ender Ciarte. Bring up Brandon Phillips. He's 0 for 3. Average now under 300 at 297. 2 runs on 6 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left for the Atlanta Braves. The Astros 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors, 7 men left. Major League Baseball has released the draft order for the June 12th Major League Baseball amateur draft. Minnesota Twins with the first overall pick in the draft. Astros will pick 15th, 53rd, 56th, and 75th, their first 4 draft picks. It's in there for a strike. 0-2. Last time the Twins had the #1 overall pick, Joe Mauer, right down the road from St. Paul. The 0-2 to Brandon Phillips with 2 men on and a 2-run game. Misses upstairs. It's a good idea to see if he'll chase up in the zone.
He's gotten a couple of calls up in the zone in this AB. Maybe trying to expand a little bit with Phillips up there, but Phillips not chasing. Does he come back with the breaking ball in the dirt?
Gregerson worked a scoreless 7th. Will Harris trying to do the same here in the 8th. Phillips fouls that one off the right side into the seats.
Was the breaking ball, but not in a good location, especially with 2 strikes. You want to try and bury that.
'17th season for Brandon Phillips. Awaits the 1-2 pitch from Harris. Foul back. Dansby Swanson and Emilio Bonifacio both singling to start this inning. Ender Ciarte, top of the order. He struck out. There's 1 away. Runners at first and second. Swanson leads away from first. Beg your pardon, from second. Bonifacio from first. Got him swinging. Big strikeout.
Good job by Will. Might have been that count where Phillips might have been looking for that breaking ball, but back-to-back heaters doubling up, trying to get in the kitchen. Does a great job of blowing it right past him.
Now a visit to the mound as most dangerous hitter in this lineup for the Atlanta Braves, Freddie Freeman, will come up.
Yeah, this is definitely a conversation on how to handle Freddie Freeman. They're going to go over the game plan they had before, reinforce that, explain to him to execute if you do miss in a certain zone. This is a tough spot right here.
Freeman, a solo home run back in the 4th inning. It was his 12th home run of the season. Got Atlanta on the board. And that ball was hit a long way to the opposite field. 336 hitter on the season. That home run ended a string of 4 consecutive strikeouts for Freddie Freeman. Misses upstairs and in that time. Two and 0. Eighteenth pitch of the inning coming up for Will Harris. Jaime Garcia started it for the Atlanta Braves. Joe Musgrove was a starter for the Astros. He gave way to Gregerson. Now it is Will Harris with 2 outs and a 2-0 pitch. 3-0.
See Will yelling at himself. So it's tough to tell if they're trying to be intentional in pitching around Freddie Freeman. Not an easy task waiting on deck either with the bases juiced. Matt Kemp still has plenty of pop.
Exactly.
But those pitches are nowhere near the zone.
And there for a strike. Freeman had 2 steps to first base. And
that was an expansive zone at the top.
3-0. Is it 0-2?
Braves dugout letting Marty Foster have it after that last strike.
Marty Foster letting him giving it right back.
Terry Pendleton, the hitting coach, right there in the center of your shot.
And he's got a beef. Look at the strike zone there. Go back to second base and Swanson gets back in. It's enough, boys.
You may think it's enough. I'm sorry, Terry Pendleton is the bench coach. Kevin Seitzer is the hitting coach. That was borderline.
It's ball 4. So the bases are loaded for Matt Kemp. Without question, the most dangerous part of this Atlanta Braves lineup. Freeman walks, that brings up Kemp. Go from a 336 hitter coming into this game to a 337 hitter. 6 career grand slams. 269 career hitter with the bases loaded. Swing and a miss. Works ahead in the count, 0-1. Freeman with a single in the 4th, 0 for 3. Beg your pardon, Kemp single in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3 in the ballgame. They want the ball up, got it up, and blew it by Matt Kemp.
Tell you what, Will Harris has worked himself into a jam, but right now 0-2 to get ahead on this hitter in Matt Kemp is pretty impressive. He is throwing the ball very nicely, has that natural cut to it, continuing to climb the ladder. What's the choice now? Do they continue to climb out of the zone? Or does he go straight to the breaking ball in the dirt? A lot will be put on Evan Gattis if it is a breaking ball in the dirt, to keep it in front.
The 0-2 with 2 outs, the bases loaded in a 2-run game. Missed upstairs.
Try to climb that ladder.
That's where the veteran hitter, he's got an idea of what the pitcher is trying to do.
But Will's got options now. He can go in the upper part of the zone again with that fastball with enough velocity to try and sneak it past Matt Kemp, or has he done enough to change the eye level to go with a breaking ball down?
The 1-2, 2-2.
Pretty good discipline by Matt Kemp. But even though he's laid off those 2 pitches to go to a 2-2 count, Will Harris still in command of this AB.
Harris getting ready to throw the 25th pitch of the inning. Fouled away and stays alive. Just got a piece. Count remains 2-2.
Yeah, that was a great job by Matt Kemp. Take a look at our super mode, just enough to get that foul tip, but a great pitch by Will Harris. That was nicely executed.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Got him swinging. And the Atlanta Braves lead the bases loaded as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Astros leading it 4-2. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Astros on top 4-2. Head to the bottom of the 8th inning. And Arodys Vizcaíno comes in for the Atlanta Braves. Vizcaíno appearing for the 15th time this season. He's 1-1 with a 3.65 ERA.
And he is bringing the noise, averaging 97.5 miles an hour on his fastball. His changeup is at 90. Slider 85 miles an hour. Get it ready.
That is 99 miles an hour.
That is some easy cheese. That ball is jumping out of his hand.
Gurriel hits this one in the air, high to right field. And there's one away here in the 8th. Let's go to Julia Morales.
Hey guys, I have the results for the Chevy Stroh poll. I want to thank everybody for voting, and remember to follow us on Twitter at RootSportsSW to check out the Stroh poll every day. We asked you which of the 90s Braves big 3 pitchers would you draft if you had a team.
Boom, we got it right again.
Yeah, you did.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Like earlier, I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of those guys. If you were to be the second, if you were to have the second pick, not too bad. Oh, we have some tweets on this.
Second pick, I'd go Smoltz. He was a closer, too.
Yeah, he threw hard, but they're
Too
secondary.
heavy, didn't he?
Huh?
Too heavy, didn't he, Smoltz?
Check the numbers. Maddox, on the other hand, is a good guy. Good example of how to pitch and pitch to contact and be successful with it. He was amazing. Absolute wizard on the mound. The professor.
It was a season. I don't remember the exact statistic, but the number of times he went 3-0 in a season, it was just without an intentional walk situation.
That's
just
like
scary.
Tony Gwynn's season strikeout numbers. Just minimal.
Made to do what they do. There's Marwin, a 1-1 count with 1 out. Marwin grounded out in the 3rd, singled in the 4th, and flew out in the 5th. Astros looking for their 23rd win of the season. A swing and a miss. 5 miles an hour on that slider. Harris got himself into some trouble, got himself out of some trouble. A swing and a miss, and Marwin goes down swinging. There's 2 away. They weren't sure what Marwin was going to do. Suzuki never tagged him. Finally, Marwin gave himself up, started heading to the dugout.
It's like 2 guys trying to talk Will Harris into growing a beard.
There's Bregman. Misses ball 1. Alex 0 for 3. Strikeout, a fly out, and a ground out. That ball hit the center field. Inciarte going back and makes the catch on the warning track. Bregman gave it a ride, but nothing to him. We go to the 9th. 4-2 Houston. And Ken Giles will come in to try to close this thing out for the Astros, making his 15th appearance of the season. Will face 5, 6, and 7 in the order for the Atlanta Braves. 8 out of 9 in save opportunities. 4.15 ERA.
He has had struggles with command, but it's still good to see that strike to walkout ratio. Fastball's averaging 97 miles an hour. Don't forget about that power slider he uses to put guys away with.
Faces Nick Markakis to lead it off here in the 9th. Atlanta with their 2 runs on 2 solo shots. They left the bases loaded in the 8th. Markakis fouls that one away. 96-mile-an-hour 4-seam fastball. Astros scored 3 in the 5th. After getting 1 in the 3rd. Big hit of the day, Carlos Correa with a 2-run double back in the 5th inning. Good pitch there. Swings over the top of a slider.
It's always tough facing a guy you've only heard about. And then you got to see him in interleague. Got to be a quick study. Not easy against a guy that throws as hard either.
Count holds at 0-2. The Astros played the 3-game series in the Pacific time zone over the weekend. Had Monday off. They play these 2 games in what amounts to an 18-hour homestand. It's the Atlanta Braves in the Central time zone. Then they'll play 7 straight in the East. It's a busy week. One ball and 2 strikes to Nick Markakis. He walked in the 2nd, hit into a double play in the 4th, and grounded out in the 7th. Giles misses outside. It's 2-2.
Markakis put together a pretty good AB.
And spoiled a couple pretty good pitches.
He has. See if Ken Giles has a slider that has a little more of a downward movement to it. Get the swing over the top.
Right back up the middle off the bare hand of Giles. It was hit hard enough to one-hop to Correa after that. You may want to check on Giles here.
Yeah, Gaddis is going out there right now, but I'm not sure if Ken Giles is waving everybody off saying don't worry about it, I'm good. Just pop him back into joint, you're good to go.
Make sure you get feeling in that hand.
This will be a look at it coming right back at you. The ball was hit pretty good just off the tip of the fingers. But not recommended. Luckily it worked out to where he's healthy and Carlos was able to make the play, but he's in to check on him also.
I think the person that wants to make sure more than anybody that Giles is okay is Adonis Garcia. He's the one that stands in, facing 100-mile-an-hour noise. Wants to make sure that that pitcher knows where it's going.
Yeah, you got a good feel for it.
Garcia with a solo home run in the 4th inning. That's inside. That's what I was talking about.
That's exactly what you were talking about. Luckily, that was the slider. But again, if you don't have a good grip, the slider's not going to break the way you want it to.
Hit to right and hit well. Springer back, looking up, makes the catch at the wall. Well, Garcia made a bid for his 2nd home run of the day to just about the exact same spot, and there's 2 outs.
I'm not going to lie to you, there was a little bit of concern. No, he didn't get it well, but sometimes these walls here at Minute Maid Park can sneak up on you and get that ball out of there. But George Springer doing a good job feeling for the wall with that right hand. Good play.
Now Kurt Suzuki with 2 outs in the 9th. Braves down to an out. Strike 1. Giles ahead in the count, 0-2. Stick around. Art Innes and Josh Beckett coming up on the post-game show. They'll recap that big 5th inning for the Houston Astros as George Springer stays hot. We'll hear from A.J. Hinch and player reaction before the team heads to the airport and heads to New York City. All coming up on the post-game show immediately following this one. The 0-2. Hit in the air. This should do it. Bregman makes the play, and the Astros sweep the 2-game series. 23-11. Best start through 34 games in club history. And take a series from the Atlanta Braves for the first time since 2009. Carlos Correa, a big 2-run double. That provided the difference as the Astros win it. They double up the Atlanta Braves 4-2.
Our player of the game is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and it's who Esh was just talking about. Carlos Correa, 2 for 3, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. Deuces are wild this afternoon for Carlos Correa, doing a great job of hustling out of the box, getting timely hits. And how about the Astros getting all of those runs with 2 outs, by the way.
4-2 the final score. We'll come back in a moment.